Software Technology Parks of India, or STPI, has been playing a crucial role in the growth of IT in India. In the past 2 decades, STPI has spread over all across the country, having more than 50 centers in different states of India, starting from south to the northeast and from north to Odisha. And it has been constantly trying to facilitate the industry and focus upon more IT, exports from India. We have got an opportunity today to speak to the Director General of STPI, Dr. Omkar Rai, who is here. Let us speak on what is the vision mission of STPI and how STPI is constantly, working in the field of bringing more IT, bringing more wealth to the country through IT. Sir, welcome to this program. What is the vision and mission of STPI?
Software Technology Parks of India was created in 1991 primarily to promote the IT industry in the country and to promote the export from the country. With this basic objective, the STPI was created and we were mandated to play a single window clearance system for the software exporters and also to provide infrastructure for development of software from the country. The crucial infrastructure that was required those days was bandwidth connectivity, and therefore STPI was also permitted to operate its own international gateways. That played a very major role in providing connectivity to the software developers in India with their counterparts in Silicon Valley. And since then, STPI never looked back, and the numbers, figures of the export and employment that has been created within the country are the testimony of the work that STPI has done for the IT industry. We have got about 53 centers across the country, and we have got about another 10 centers under consideration. In times to come, they can come.
Sir, for a general audience, I would like to listen from you. What are the different, key roles, or say the action is being organized by STPI for the growth of IT in the whole of India?
Basically, as I said, STPI is a single window clearance agency, and the way it has implemented this work is unparalleled in the country. It's totally bureaucratic-less, it's a very liberal style of functioning, and it works in a very friendly environment for the IT industry. So IT industry never feels that we are government or something out. So we have been doing that job very nicely. Second is that we are trying to come up with incubation infrastructure across the country, primarily for two things: for supporting the startup companies, smaller companies and micro companies across the country, and also to help transition India from service-oriented nation to a product nation. Because we firmly believe that the IT industry in India is almost 2 decades old, and right from coding it has moved up the value chain now. There are a large number of talents available in this country, and entire ecosystem is coming up. And this is the right time when we can venture into product creation.
Sir, it is not only the growth of IT inside India. The IT professionals from India, they are doing excellent job all across the globe. So how you see the state of IT, the contemporary the trend in India vis-a-vis other countries?
You can yourself see that India is also getting up into the product thing. You can always get see the news in the newspaper that this company is attracting this much venture capital. So IT sector in India is almost now on par with the rest of the world, because the kind of culture and the best practices that has been adopted by IT industry in this country is mostly driven by Silicon Valley standards and practices. The same thing has been translated in India also. The entrepreneurs, the professionals, those who have worked even in Silicon Valley, are trying to set the standards in Silicon Valley in India, entire country. So I would say that as far as entrepreneurship is concerned, a lot of capital is flowing from Silicon Valley and Europe, and it is getting into venture capital and angel funding space. At the same time, our young graduates as well as experienced people working with IT industry are having that endeavor to come out and try on their own. that is really gearing up and facilitating a lot of entrepreneurship in the field of IT.
Sir, in a country like India, if you look at any business, the SMEs and MSMEs plays a very crucial role in the growth of industry. So, what is the focus or mission of STPI in supporting those SMEs and MSMEs in different parts of the country?
See, what we are trying to do is that we are trying to develop a lot of infrastructure across the country. So we are trying to meet certain objectives. First is that we should be able to come up with infrastructure which should be used by the micro, small and medium entrepreneurs across the country. Second, that we were trying to, create a pitch for migration of IT industry, transition of IT industry from tier 1 cities to tier 2 and tier 3 cities. We want tier 2 and tier 3 cities of this country also to come up and reap the benefit of the growth of IT. At the same time, this process is also going to help bigger companies in their cost arbitrage issues, because tier 1 cities are getting too costly for them. So tier 2 cities are to be brought into the in the mainstream. They have to reap the benefits of the growth of IT and create job locally. And micro and small medium entrepreneurs should be given infrastructure as far as plug and play infrastructure by STPI across the country, where we have our infrastructure in place.
Sir, IT growth is important, but equally, the software growth is important, but equally you should also think about, promoting the hardware, where India is probably lagging vis-a-vis the other countries in our continent. So what is the role or say the mission of STPI in supporting that sector?
See, STPI has been promoting and implementing electronics and hardware technology park scheme. It has been a 100% export oriented scheme for electronics, but as we know that we haven't done well in manufacturing sector, and that's why the import is happening in the field of electronics. Very recently, government has come up with the Digital India Vision. Make in India campaign is coming up, and STPI has already positioned itself and taken initiative to make that vision and goal realized by the government. So in that regard, we are coming up very soon with a characterization lab in Bangalore, which is going to help the entrepreneur and designer in getting their chip tested in a very economical manner and timely manner. The second characterization lab is going to come up right in Bhubaneswar with the help of the state government. We are already in position to launch an electronic system incubator in association with Delhi University, where we have roped in Electronic Semiconductor Association to help us implement that scheme. We are also preparing a lot of schemes to see that the electronic system incubation parks are brought in sector-specific domain. Like just for example, that if we could bring a ESDM incubation center in Pune, let it focus on automotive electronics. In Chennai, again, automotive electronics and this thing. So we are trying to come up with ESDM incubators across the country, where there is a lot of scope for entrepreneurship and development of product.
Do you mean that these are the activities you are going to align with the Make in India initiative?
Of course, see, STPI has been the engine of growth in terms of Make in India for last 2 decades, because if you see that the export that has been made by STPI registered units, it is in the tune of 2,73,000 crore. So and the entire manpower that is employed by IT sector is in the tune of 3 million engineers, direct jobs, and indirect jobs, as you know that it is a thumb rule that it is 3 times the direct job that we create in the IT field. So now what I am trying to say is that the entrepreneurs, the professionals, those are working in this IT industry, which is very matured in India, they are already into that domain. They are creating products. It's everyday news. We can always see that everyday news. There are a lot of capital coming in India, and this capital is being attracted by those people who are in Make in India campaign itself. Basically, they are coming up with products. Similarly, in the field of electronic system and design and manufacturing, we are doing our job. What we are doing is that we are trying to make it a for the entire ecosystem, like characterization lab, like ESDM incubators. Like first incubator, as I said, is happening with the collaboration of academia. It is a very state-of-the-art and innovative idea, where it is getting established in the South Campus of Delhi University, wherein it will get to work with the top academicians of Delhi University. At the same time, ISA will bring the industry perspective, and STPI, as usual, will collaborate with all the stakeholders to see that the incubation is become successful.
Absolutely, absolutely. As you said, STPI has almost created over 3 million direct employment in the country, and there are a lot of activities those are taking place currently. And to align with Make in India initiative, STPI has had a lot of programs. So we are talking to the Director General of STPI. We'll be talking on different subjects too. We are talking to the Director General of STPI, Dr. Omkar Rai. Sir, we were just discussing about this Make in India program, and you are also very enthusiastic about Digital India. What exactly is your plan for this?
See, Digital India initiative of the government talks about, among many things, about indigenous production of software and hardware for the domestic use and also for the export. As you know that STPI is already working for the promotion of development as well as export of the software from the country, and as I told, we have done tremendous job in this regard. Now in the field of electronics, now things are happening, and we are working to ensure that the entire ecosystem is developed in the field of ESDM sector. For that, we are coming up with incubators across the country, as well as characterization lab, so that the testing, etc., and reliability facilities are also developed. We are trying to help create an ecosystem across the country for entrepreneurial development in the ESDM sector. In the software sector, it is all a story, and people know that STPI played a seminal role. And now the software sector contributes about more than 8% in the Indian GDP. We are looking forward that kind of scenario even for electronic system and design manufacturing sector.
Sir, you were talking about ERP, and now STPI is looking forward for a very massive computerization. How it is going to help, or how it is going to build your efficiency inside the system?
See, ERP is mainly focused on making our internal systems efficient, and to make the things seamlessly easy for our customers that are software exporting units. We don't want these units to come and spend a lot of transaction cost in getting the government services that we offer to them. And then ERP system is also going to make us scale up, because we are we don't have sufficient manpower in STPI, and we have to expand across the country. We have to reach to the tier 2 and tier 3 towns of this country. So unless we scale up facilities, so this ERP is going to give us the strength to scale up. Without sufficient manpower, we can serve and we can bring those values even in the tier 2 and tier 3 and remotest part of this country. Under the Make in India program, as you know that a lot of stress is being laid for the development of eastern region of this country, including northeastern states. Now, you may be aware that these sectors are being said to be good for promotion of BPO and ITS, call center and BPO facilities. So, STPI is going to play a seminal key role in implementation of those schemes for Eastern India. Now, this ERP is going to help us in efficiently implement all these schemes that the government entrusts to STPI without losing any time in the processing.
Sir, your institution STPI has been working as one of the key interface between government and the industry, and you are talking about some activities which you are going to do with the Delhi University. I believe this is the first initiative where you are going to connect a triangular network between STPI, then the industry and the academia.
Yeah, it is for the first time that STPI has been able to bring the stakeholders on a platform where it is making we are making it sure that the top academicians, mentors, as well as industry champions and experts work together for promotion of the entrepreneurs. Now we are going to conduct a competition where the best ideas will be selected, and those entrepreneurs will be mentored by a highly highly regarded experts in this field, and they will also bring value from the academia. So that's why this ESDM incubator is being established in the south campus of Delhi University, and active support is also being sought from India Electronic Semiconductor Association. There's a pool of mentors, the right kind of angel funding, and the right kind of support, resource support that we are providing, all these machines and etc., and characterization facilities etc. So I am sure that this is going to be one of the it's already a first initiative, and it is going to be a very successful experiment by us.
So do you feel that as far as the IT growth in India is concerned, there is some missing link between the industry and academia interface in our country?
Of course. Basically, if you know that industry always says that we are not getting ready to use graduates from the university. Therefore, this finish school concept has come up. Unlike in the United States, in India, those links are not that strong, and that's why we are not able to quickly move to a product nation. That's why this initiative of STPI, bringing STPI and Delhi University and Electronic Semiconductor Association together, is going to create that kind of is going to set the tone for that kind of experiments in future, because the EU is also envisaging to leverage from those experiences that are gained during that ESDM incubation to modify their curriculum also. So now it is going to be a kind of vicious virtuous cycle where academia is going to learn from ESDM incubation, and those experts of industry, they are going to learn from that interaction that is happening between entrepreneurs and academia, and vice versa. So this is going to give us a lot of value and a lot of experience which we'll be using in the future.
Sir, we were also talking about the comprehensive growth of IT in India. If you look at the contribution of software development in South, say centers like Chennai, centers like Bangalore, which has become world class in terms of contribution, and vis-a-vis if you look at centers like Bhubaneswar, centers like even Guwahati and other places, so there is not that level of contribution. So how, as the Director General of STPI, how you look forward to bring more improvement or say more value in those centers which are lagging behind?
See, for this what we have to do is that we have to create infrastructures in tier 2 and tier 3 cities like Bhubaneswar and Guwahati etc. You have to work on the development of manpower also. You have to create good infrastructure so that the leaders of these technology companies, they are having no hesitation to move to these locations. So proper education system, proper infrastructure, proper training, proper all these things have to be put together. STPI is doing its bit. We have almost in every northeastern state we are opening a center. Already we are in Bhubaneswar, we are in Gangtok, we are in Shillong. Very soon we are going to open it up in Nagaland, in Itanagar, in Tripura, and the idea is that by the time this BPO scheme which is about to be launched by the central government goes, we are already in place to see that those schemes are properly implemented for the benefit of any states. As far as Odisha is concerned, if I give you an example, we have got 4 centers in Odisha, and we are also considering to open 3 new centers in Angul, Jajpur and Sambalpur. Now, why we are opening these centers? We go there and create that conducive environment, awareness. We work with the state government, academia, to create that kind of conduciveness, and that's how we try to propagate and industry is promoted to and solicited to come to that place. Now it is also in the interest of the industry to move to these locations. As you are aware that tier 2 cities are getting very difficult to work with, and the manpower cost is so heavy, and tier 2 and tier 3 cities of this country offer that cost arbitrage. So now migration has to happen provided we create that kind of infrastructure and everything that is required for the IT industry in place. We are working for that.
Sir, how you see the growth of, say, in terms of creating employment in basically in the tier 2 and tier 3 cities, and as far as the IT giants are concerned, how we can bring them to the tier 2 and tier 3 cities? What the role STPI is currently playing?
STPI plays a nucleating role. So we go and set up our operation and create a conducive environment. We try to sensitize this local government, the academia, and create a field for those kind of investment in that region. Like if you look at top 5 companies of this country in the IT, they are going into tier 2 and tier 3 cities because of scaling issue. They don't lose if they move to Bhubaneswar, they don't lose if they move to Chandigarh, because their standards are all set and they have large number of people who can lead or give leadership role to those places. As far as innovation based company, product based companies, they like to work in tier 1 cities because they get that kind of ecosystem. So now tier 2 and tier 3 cities offer cost arbitrage, provided the infrastructure and other facilities are in place. And that is what we are trying to do by reaching in those far-flung places and creating that conducive environment beforehand, so that a proper environment can be created for bringing those IT measures in those places.
Sir, when you talk about this tier 2 and tier 3 cities and look forward to the more participation, meaningful participation of the IT giants from different parts of the globe, we always talk about this ecosystem. What exactly you mean by this ecosystem?
See, ecosystem would mean that they would require a large number of trained manpower, and they would also require huge infrastructure because it's a manpower based industry and they need a good working environment, great infrastructure in place for making them to work in that. So the essence is that we have to have infrastructure, good infrastructure in terms of building, road, connectivity, school, hospital, education, airports. So these are the infrastructure that is required, and rest of the things are brought by the IT measure themselves.
Sir, when you talk about entrepreneurship in India, especially in some of the states, this entrepreneurship spirit is lacking. But one good thing is that a lot of new generation people are now getting into entrepreneurship, and you will find a lot of first generation entrepreneurs, those who are opting for mostly IT-based industries. So how you see the scenario, say after 10 years or 20 years, with the participation of the new generation entrepreneurs?
See, entrepreneurship, I can see that coming from two reasons. First is that youngsters are finding it challenging to get into entrepreneurship. They attach a lot of pride in doing entrepreneurship. So the things are totally significantly different from the past, because in past entrepreneurship was not that respected in the society. Second are those professionals who are already put in one decade or 2 decades service in the IT industry, and they know exactly where the requirement of product lies, and they come up with that experience and idea, and they quickly put the funds together and people together, and they start getting into it. So this entrepreneurship in India is driven by two kind of people. First, young startup graduates right from the campus, they get into it, and others are the people who are so experienced and so knowledgeable, and they know the entire ecosystem, and they know exactly where the product requirement is. So those are the people who are very people with wisdom and experience. So there are two type of people who are driving entrepreneurship in the field of IT in this country.
What is your advice to the first generation startup companies, maybe the young graduates, those who are coming from different institutions and directly starting a company primarily based on their idea?
Basically, idea has to be totally revolutionary. It should not be copied, and I can foresee a lot of scope for entrepreneurship in this country. This country is going to consume a lot of product in the future. The e-governance is happening. The government is also spending a lot of money to make the things better, and that opens up a lot of scope for indigenous development, production and consumption of those products in this country. So entire ecosystem is going to happen, and then there are things like future things like Internet of Things, like designing. There are fabulous this thing e-commerce sector, where a lot of scope and opportunity for the young entrepreneur.
Absolutely, there are a lot of opportunities available for the young entrepreneurs. Those who are opting for different, ideas and services based on IT. The ecosystem is growing, it is changing, it is becoming more conducive for entrepreneurship and production, and the use of internet is also growing in our country. So there are a lot of opportunity for the young people, those who are opting to start something of their own, maybe as the first generation entrepreneur, or maybe the people who are straight coming out from the universities, from different technical institutions, and they want to pursue their idea and convert their idea into wealth, or say into business. We keep talking to the Director General of STPI, that is Software Technology Parks of India. We have been talking to the Director General of Software Technology Parks of India, Dr. Omkar Rai, who has been here at Gopalpur on Sea to attend one of the very important review meeting of STPI. Dr. Rai, we have been talking on different subjects and the role STPI is playing. So you are here basically to attend one of the very important review meeting. Would you like to speak something about that?
Yeah, of course. Basically, these director meetings that we are holding in such kind of places, they help all the directors and key officials of STPI to sit together for a long time and discuss and share their experiences, knowledge, and expectations. So that's the kind of platform where we make it sure that there is a peer learning among directors, and we also discuss and decide the future course of action for STPI. Like in this meeting, we discussed about how Digital India program of the vision is going to work and how we are going to contribute in that vision. We discussed here that how we can take benefit of that experiment in terms of our ESDM incubation that we are now implementing with the support of DU. How we can take that experiment to other parts of this country, because other directors will endeavor and work with respective state governments and academia to make sure that this kind of things are repeated.
Right, sir. So taking cue from this directors review meeting which you have been attending, sir, how what are your action plan down the line for the next 5 years or 10 years?
See, STPI has to focus primarily on promotion of entrepreneurship across the country, both in software and electronics. Now, as I told, the software sector is already grown to a level where we have a lot of people across the country who are capable of developing product and developing the kind of entrepreneurial and system across the country. In the field of electronic system and design and manufacturing, we have a lot of capacity in fabulous design area, and we have to leverage and promote those potential and capacity in our people to come up with the products, and that is how India is going to transform itself from an outsourcing nation to a product nation. Second, that we would like to take the industry to tier 2 and tier 3 cities for creating job and wealth for those places, also taking wealth to other parts of this country also. And third, that we are going to focus more in line with the government's vision for the promotion of Eastern India. We are going to make it sure that they also get the benefit of the progress that India is making in various fields.
India is one of the largest nation of this country. India is one of the largest nation of this world, and as far as IT is concerned, software and hardware both are concerned, India is primarily one of the largest user of different products and services. So till date we have been depending heavily on other countries for more basically hardware. So how you see the future?
See, we have to produce within this country, we have to make in India, and we have to grow from make in India to made in India. That means a a nation where we are presently soliciting the investment to come, to the people and companies to come and create products here, manufacture here, so that the jobs could be created. In times to come, we have to make it sure that we also create products within this country and create value and wealth within this country. So we have to, minimize our import, and we have to maximize our export, and in turn create a lot of jobs for the young graduates, for the people of this country.
Sir, how you see the vision and the role of STPI in this direction?
See, STPI has to work very closely with the entrepreneurs and the people with ideas to promote their ideas across the country, and we have to focus on entrepreneurial development and incubation program that we are trying to bring. We have to make it sure that the industry disperses from tier 1 to tier 2 and tier 3 cities, and we have to make sure that the places who are far flung, which are not able to take the benefit of the progress that India has made so far, and they also join the growth and reap the benefit of the progress that India is making in these times.
Sir, STPI was founded in the year 1991, and it is more than 2 decades of performance, getting into different, translating your vision into action, spreading centers across the whole country, then becoming one of important gateway in software, export primarily, and also an important agency of the government, becoming, for industry partnership. So how you, rate the success of STPI in those more than 20 years?
See, STPI has been a phenomenal success. The industry is a testimony. IT industry, which is so strong industry, which contributes more than 8%, started with STPI itself, because STPI was the single agency to promote, regulate, monitor and support the IT industry in this country. Rising from, about 1% GDP contribution in year 2000, now we are contributing more than 8% in the Indian GDP. I mean, that's the testimony that of the work that STPI has done for this industry. And STPI is continuously evolving itself, repositioning itself, redefining itself. STPI is a very agile and vibrant organization. It has got the capacity to change itself to the requirements of this country. And that's how STPI has already aligned itself to make it sure that the vision, digital India vision of this government, we play a major role to realize that vision.
STPI, or the Software Technology Parks of India, has been playing a very vital role in bringing wealth to this country. As Dr. Rai was saying, that it has reached today, it is contributing almost 8% of the GDP, and STPI is not a static organization. It has been experimenting, changing, and it has become a very, very dynamic organization in terms of adopting the changes, in terms of taking everybody together, the industry, the government, the industry, and even the academia. Thank you so much for talking to us, and we believe under your leadership STPI will go to the next level. Thank you so much. We were just talking to Dr. Omkar Rai, the Director General of STPI, who spoke on a variety of topics, and who also told about the vision of STPI down the line, the vision of STPI for the next 1 decade.